about a week ago on Monday, we kind of saw something, and we said, you know what, we should probably chat with this person. It happened on the Senate floor here in Arizona.
And dare I say something you don't see every day?
I don't think you see this every day. No,
Yeah.
I don't.
If ever.
We had an Arizona state senator on the floor tell her fellow lawmakers about a week ago that she needs an abortion. We know what the state is doing with abortion.
Attempting to restrict it in some way, shape, or form.
Correct. And she says she's using her experience to look at some of the restrictions on the procedure that's been passed by legislatures, this one of the past. So we've invited her on the show, and she's graciously said yes.
Awesome.
So joining us now is Arizona Senator right here in Phoenix, Eva Burch. State Senator, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it. Your health is good. You're okay. Everything is okay now. You're feeling better after the procedure, correct?
Yes, my health is good. I had my procedure last Wednesday, so it's been a week now, and I have fully recovered, and I'm doing very well.
So why did you make a personal decision so public? Why reveal this during a Senate speech?
I'm at a really critical intersection of this conversation just because of my experience. I think it's unique. I have been a healthcare provider in the reproductive healthcare space. I have been a patient seeking abortion and now a lawmaker. And I felt like this was a perspective that needed to be shared. I also just really wanted to open up the conversation and sort of break through some of the stigma about who the abortion patient is and what the abortion process looks like. And I felt very comfortable bringing people along with me, and I wanted to take that opportunity.
Can you explain to us, and I just mean to back up a little bit, at least for those that didn't watch your speech, talk to us a little bit about the complications and the decision that you had come to.
Certainly. I had a similar scenario happen just 2 years ago. My husband and I were trying to get pregnant. We got pregnant and were very excited about it, but we discovered ultrasound after ultrasound that the pregnancy was not progressing, that I was not going to have a viable pregnancy. And so we chose to schedule an abortion. And then the day before I was supposed to have that procedure, I started to miscarry. And we went to the emergency department. I was bleeding a little bit more than what we were comfortable with. And once I got there, the miscarriage stalled. They did an ultrasound. The embryo was still in there. And so I was not able to have a procedure there at the emergency department, and I had to go the next day to the abortion clinic and have my procedure then. So I had already had an experience that was really unsettling for me. When we found out that we were pregnant again, we were cautiously optimistic, but I also didn't really want to commit to an emotion because I knew that I was high risk and that this has happened before. And so, we were cautious with our optimism. We went through this almost the same exact experience, started getting ultrasounds, had blood draws, and things just were not progressing. And I was destined for a miscarriage. We knew I would miscarry. I had had such a bad experience with it in the past. I did not want to miscarry again, and I chose abortion to avoid that scenario.
But certainly our hearts go out to you and your husband as you continue to try to have a family and run into this. Certainly it provides a different face, if you will, to maybe what some people believe abortion's used for.
Arizona State Senator Eva Burch is with us, announced on the floor of the Senate here in Arizona that she was going to have an abortion. Okay, so is it hard to get an abortion in Arizona now? The rules have changed a bit. Was it hard to schedule it? Can you tell us that part of it?
Yes, it can take weeks to be able to get in to see a provider, which, for many patients will push them past the date where they're allowed to have a procedure, and it can become a little bit of a scramble. We only have abortion available up to 15 weeks, but risks and complications in pregnancy are not limited to 15 weeks. Patients can need abortion care, and that can be the right decision for them past the 15-week mark. It doesn't just stop happening to women because politicians have decided that that's all they're comfortable with.
So if you went past the 15 weeks, what would have happened?
I would have had to leave the state.
You would have had, and you would have
past 15 weeks with a non-viable pregnancy that I was choosing to terminate. I would have to go somewhere else for that care.
You would have went to a California or a neighboring state.
that's what I would have done for sure. But I was able to get it scheduled. But not only does it take time to be able to get in, since there are a limited number of providers who provide this type of care in Arizona, but then we have to go through counseling sessions that are mandated by statute, that's in the law. And these counseling sessions are so inappropriate, especially for somebody like me who is there with a wanted pregnancy. I was told that I could consider adoption, that I could consider parenting. I was told what the probable fetal anatomical properties would be at the time of my abortion. So inappropriate and unnecessary for patients. And it's really the reason that, from my perspective, it should be medical providers that are determining what the appropriate counseling is for patients, and not politicians who don't have any experience in healthcare and who don't understand the individual circumstances of the patient.
Arizona State Senator Eva Burch is joining us, announcing on the Senate floor about a week ago that she had to have an abortion, unfortunately. And you've described your struggles with fertility, and you've detailed your experience with miscarriage and abortion. I am trying to paint the picture of what happens to just an everyday person out there if, in fact, they find out that they need an abortion. So we talked about the 15 weeks. You got under the 15 weeks and were able to schedule. We talked about what would happen if you went over the 15 weeks. You mentioned you would have went to a neighboring state. Well, let's take the other angle. What if there is someone out there that doesn't have the means to go to another state, and they were in the same exact situation as you, so they decide, okay, I'm going to stay here. What would have happened then, especially in your situation where you knew that it wasn't viable? Thank you.
So for somebody who has a non-viable pregnancy, who can't afford to have a procedure, for example, there are resources that are available, but by and large, what the scenario that they would find themselves in is that they need to just wait to have a miscarriage. And with my original abortion that I had 2 years ago, I was not told by my medical provider that abortion was an option for me. It was something that I sought out on my own, but I was told to just keep coming back every week, and they would continue to do ultrasounds and wait until the embryo had died. And at that point, I could have a procedure. But pregnancy is not a health neutral event. There are lots of risks associated with being pregnant, and staying pregnant and just waiting for the inevitable, waiting for a miscarriage, is, from my perspective, not appropriate for many patients. And I think that option should absolutely be available to them.
Yeah, it sounds cruel, to say the least. Senator Burch,
I agree.
We really appreciate your time, and you've really explained this. And again, I think you're doing a great job of putting a different face on this for people. I have one final question for you as we wrap this up. Thinking of the colleagues that you gave this speech in front of, do you think it had any impact on those who are pushing for more restrictions? Did your personal story and them knowing you on some level,
and you being a Democrat, and them being Republican
for the most part, right? Did it have any effect?
Right. Well, what I will say is this. I have really good relationships with my Republican colleagues. I don't lean really heavy into party politics. I live in a district that I represent a lot of Democrats and I represent a lot of Republicans. It's, a very moderate district that I live in, and it's important to me that I accurately represent my constituents. Now, do I think that I'm changing the minds of people who are adamantly fighting for more restrictions? No. But I do think that some of my colleagues were thoughtful about what I had to say, and maybe have recognized that maybe we haven't got everything exactly right. But I don't think that the landscape of abortion in Arizona is going to change without making changes within our legislature. I think that without having pro-choice candidates, I don't think that there's going to be any really meaningful change. I will continue to try to push for that and to try to work across the aisle to achieve better outcomes and higher quality of care for patients. But it's an uphill battle.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and thanks for sharing your story. That's Arizona State Senator Eva Burch, representing Mesa area.
Thank you, Senator.
The best part of it. Yeah, thank you.
That's it. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.